Today's video starts here with the horses. We've got several horses around here, and with these horses, we take the horses, we load them up into that trailer, and we go camping. The only problem with that is we need something to pull it with, which isn't a problem most of the time. But we've got this trailer that we can, this is a creation I made. It used to be a 24-foot gooseneck. I shortened it up a little bit and made it into a bumper pull. That's a whole different story. But anyways, we take this camping, and we've got all our panels and everything set up on the side here. So this rig works pretty good. What we'd like to tow it with is the motorhome. Oh, we got some kitten action here. These are usually my winter helpers here. This is Taz. They're just laid out on the concrete. It's sort of warm out here today. But back to the motorhome. This is our choice of what we like to pull that trailer with the panels on for camping. The issue we have when we're using the motorhome to pull the trailer is in certain situations the motorhome it overheats, and we're trying to avoid that. Let me give you a little backstory on the radiator drama I've been having with this motorhome. We've got some chassis batteries that have to go into here. That's on the list. I'll get them next. But back to the radiator. Let me give you a little backstory of what we got going on here. Let me walk past the motorhome, the radiator, and go into this room right here. In here, I've got a radiator. This is the radiator I put in there to replace the aluminum radiator that these 2005 Monaco Holiday Ramblers come with. Those aluminum ones with the plastic ends on, those are just enough to get it out the door. They're pretty much junk. So if you've got one of those, go take a look at your motorhome, get rid of them. And depends what you're doing with them is going to depend what radiator you put in there. So I went and purchased a radiator, a $2,922 radiator from the outfit in Sweet Home, Oregon, and it's the Radiator Supply House. And that's what's in the box here. That is a 4-core radiator, and that is a beautiful radiator. I mean, it's a heavy duty quality. It's a nice radiator, but it's sitting in the box there because it wasn't helping with the overheating issue. So since that's a very good quality radiator, I decided to go back with that same company because I know they have a good quality radiator. I called them up and I said I need a bigger radiator than that 4-core radiator, and I gave them all the dimensions. I told them that I had so many inches to fill it up. Give me the biggest radiator we can fit in that spot. They said no problem. They gave me a price, and the price for that custom radiator that they gave me was $5,616, which, yeah, that's a chunk of change for a radiator, but if it stops the overheating problem, it's well worth it. It's cheaper than a new 5.9 Cummins. So I said, yeah, let's go ahead and get it ordered, get it built, get it shipped to me. Well, once it showed up, I was a little disappointed. And I guess it's my fault. You can just see this is all the wider this radiator for $5,600 than what the other radiator was. I got one more core, and that made absolutely no difference with the heating problem in here. Now I got some options here. I can either take the radiator I have in the room, I can take this $5,600 radiator, and I can put them both underneath the bench, and then I would have a total of $8,538 worth of radiator sitting under that bench. And the radiator that I would like to put in here, did some searching, is this company here, CGJ, out of Gadsden, Alabama. They make an 8-row radiator, and for a price it's probably $5,500 by the time you throw shipping in there. So do I scrap out and get rid of the $8,500 worth of radiators and put them on the bench, spend another $5,500 and get it in here? I don't know. It's a hard choice to make. Well, it's not that big of a choice to make, because I don't think it's realistic to scrap that $8,000 worth of radiators to get another radiator in here. So my solution is, for one, next time I know better, but the solution is to put an auxiliary radiator back up underneath here. And that's what I'm going to do. Is this represents the size of the radiator that I can get, and I'm going to get that radiator and see if I can get it finagled into here where I can still get in this engine compartment. Let me show you some of the details. So, doing some Amazon shopping, I found a radiator, and I could probably do this all for $1,000 compared to spending another $5,000 on this. I got a radiator with a fan. Here's what it came out of. It came off of Amazon. But here's sort of what's happening here. Here's the auxiliary radiator. This is the existing reservoir tank, which is right here. There's the 1¼ line out of there. I'm going to tee into that line to feed the top of the radiator. Then what I'm going to do is come off the bottom of the radiator, and I'm going to feed that to a 12-volt electric pump, and I'm going to tee that in to my heater core hose here, because these are the heater core hoses that go up to here, up to here. So the system putting in here will work a couple different ways. If the heater is off up on the dash of the motorhome, it shuts a valve off right here, which will then direct the water. The water can't backflow back through the heater. It's going to go right back into the top of the motor. And this little line here is the motor. And typically with these 5.9 Cummins, that back cylinder always gets a little hot because it's the farthest away from the radiator. So it's going to solve another problem of keeping the back of the motor cool, because it dumps in right here. And here's the 12-volt pump that I've got for that unit, and that is right there. And we got mounts right here, and we got the pump right here. We got some pump fittings. We got some tees. Some of this stuff I may not use. Here's where I got a tee into the heater core hose, because these are 5/8 on each end. Everything I'm putting in there is a 3/4 silicone hose. Got a bunch of special C-clamps specifically for silicone hose. So you can see there's quite a few parts here. I've got shut-off valves on everything, so that if all else fails and my brainstorm doesn't work, I just got to shut the valve off here, shut the valve off here, and totally isolate that auxiliary radiator system from the system. So We got plenty of shut-off valves. We got a bunch of 1 1/4" fittings to make that T connection in there. We got the 1 1/4" line. We got some 3/4 silicone hose. We got some 1 1/4" silicone hose. We got some 90-degree elbows coming off the radiator. And we got some adapters that go from 1 1/2" on the radiator to 1 1/4", which is that reservoir hose. I think I got everything covered. So this video is sort of for, well, me venting, and if somebody has one of these 2005 Holiday Rambler Neptunes, or this same philosophy, might work on all kinds of other motorhomes that are having heating issues. So let me get started, get all this stuff unboxed, figure out what I have here for fittings. Oh, I got T fittings here. I got hose clamps. I got radiator mounts. I don't know what's all these boxes. I got the adapters to go from 1 1/2" on the radiator to the 3/4" hoses. And I'll see what's in these boxes here. I think it's the hose. So, let me get started on this. Well, if you're still here and I didn't thoroughly confuse you about the radiator drama and all the different radiators and options, well, let me maybe confuse you a little more. You saw my fancy little drawing or sketch I had to get it in my head. I got all the parts unboxed here, and these are all the extra parts, because when you order those parts, sometimes they come in packs of 2, and I only needed 1. So anyways, that's a future project. So you can see that we've got the T that connects into there, into this 1 1/4" line. We got the silicone hose in. That's going to go here, here, here. This end is going to screw into there, and we're going to have that. That's one T. And then up on the top of the motor up here, connected in, is going to be the other one, which is the shut-off valve, the 5/8" line. This side right here is going to tee into the existing heater core hose, and then this 3/4" line is going to go back down to the pump. And then we got our other fittings, our 90 off the radiator, down to 3/4", which is going to go to the pump. So right here, that's all this right here. Here's the pump. This is the star of the show here. Well, along with the radiator, but we didn't get that yet. And you know, it's sort of amazing. This stuff was just ordered a couple of days ago, and everything came except the radiator. If I would have had to try to source all this stuff locally, for one, I don't think it would have happened. And for two, I'd have done a lot of running. So here's the pump. This is that Mercer 12-volt pump. And the fittings you got to get in there, you got to be real careful to make sure you get the correct ones. This is an OBR fitting. It's a -12 is what I think it is, but it's got this O-ring on there, and that just screws into here, and that is going to be our 3/4. That didn't come with it. I had to order those separately, so that's going to go in there. They got a nice plug. They got it fused. I'm going to have it fused also on there. So you can see I got a little bit of work, and you know, it's freaking hot out here today. Getting the coolant drained, and I think that's where I'm going to end this video, because it's already getting a little long, and I will bring you back when I get the radiator and when I start assembling all this and splicing and teeing into the system, and we'll get you down into the belly of the beast there. So go back and watch a whole pile of other videos that I had on this motorhome here. There's a couple on the coolant system, there's on the hitch system and the frame, guards on the bottom, all kinds of upgrades. And I think it's worth it to keep this Holiday Rambler on the road. It seems like it's becoming a desirable rig. It's somewhat pre-emission. There's still a EGR system on this 5.9 Cummins, and it's not a straight 5.9 Cummins, it's an ISB, so it's an industrial version of this. So it's a desirable motor for the most part. I think we're doing good with it. Even though it doesn't have the DEF and the different diesel particulate filters and everything, it does have the EGR system on there, and that's a very expensive system to keep operating. It's a whole lot cheaper than the newer versions, but we'll get in and I'll show you once we get past that and back in there what that EGR system is all about, and things to look for that could save you thousands of dollars. Ask me how I know. So talk to you guys later. See you on the next video. Thank you for watching Alan's Day. Life is about making choices. Some things are already perfect. Some things you may choose to upgrade. This channel will show you both. Please like, subscribe, and share. Thanks again.